any of these texts or Snapchats that you sent at 3:30 in the morning?
No,
You never mentioned that I texted go.
that's not what I text. No, I did not mention it. I'm sorry, no.
You never mentioned that at 3:31, you sent a heart emoji to Huston Dunker.
I did not. I did not mention that.
In fact, it's Agent Harmon who brings up the name Huston Dunker.
Yes,
And your reaction as the jury saw is, are you incredible Agent Harmon Dunker? That's what you say to him, right?
what did you?
You saw that video. When
Yes, I saw the video. I didn't understand what you just said.
Your reaction is Dunker?
Correct.
And you immediately tell Agent Hammond that he's a kid,
That
correct?
He's a what?
That he's just a young man, a kid who you know about.
Yes, that's what I said.
Not what you're telling this jury today, that, oh, I was so terrified of him.
Yes.
Never mention any of that to Agent Hammond.
No, I did not.
In fact, you tell Agent Hammond, this is dumb, when he starts his line of questioning of Huston Dunker.
I did.
You characterize it as dumb.
That's what I said.
Your husband is lying in his house cold. Correct?
My husband is,
Withdrawn. Withdrawn.
Brian was dead at that time, yes.
The next day, an autopsy is performed on your husband. The same agent meets you again
Yes.
and talks to you. Correct?
Yes.
Wants to find out what happened to your husband, who you claim to this jury that you loved so dearly. Correct?
I don't know what he wanted to find out.
Well, he wanted to find out what happened to him.
I would assume so, yes.
You assume?
That's his job, is what I'm saying, yes.
He wanted to find out what happened to Ryan Cooper.
Yes.
It's not an assumption. Correct?
Yes. I'm sorry, I guess I'm misunderstanding some of what you're saying. Did he tell me I want to find out? I don't know. But yes, that's his job, so that's why he was there, yes.
And you did not tell him what happened to Ryan Cooper.
No.
You did not tell him that Huston Dunker has been threatening my life.
No.
You did not tell him that I've been sending him messages where I want to. In fact, you denied any affair with Huston Dunker,
I did.
whether it's online, whether it's in person, whether it's in any shape or manner, correct?
Correct.
In 2 years pass. It's May of 2023. You talk to Agent John Talbot.
Yes.
When you talk to Agent John Talbot, it's at your farm or Ryan's farm where he lived and where he died, correct?
Correct.
You're talking to Agent Talbot in May of 2023. You know very well that he's investigating what happened to Ryan Cooper that night.
Yes.
You have a conversation with Agent Talbot that spans 3 hours.
Yes.
He tells you, no detail is too small. Tell me everything.
Correct.
He asks you about Huston Dunker.
He did.
You saw him testify here, I believe last week or sometimes in this trial, correct?
Correct.
You knew he was a DCI agent, a sworn peace officer in the state of Iowa who wants to find out what happened to the man that you now claim you loved so dearly, correct?
Yes.
When the name Huston Dunker comes up, you don't tell him what you told this jury this morning, do you?
No.
You don't mention that Huston Dunker had been sending you some messages that are threatening that have just somehow disappeared, correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
You don't tell him that Huston Dunker has been sending you some messages that were very threatening that somehow disappeared.
No.
You don't tell him that Huston Dunker wanted to harm your children.
No.
You also don't tell him that you wanted to have children with Huston Dunker.
No.
You don't tell him that a year after Ryan Cooper's death, you are planning to have a child with Huston Dunker.
Because I was not.
You don't tell him that you are planning to do IVF and that you have to explain to Huston Dunker what IVF means.
No, I did not tell him about those Snapchats.
You don't tell him that you're preparing to be Huston Dunker's wife and that you'll be tearing down things and that Huston Dunker will need to be able to fix them up.
I told him about none of the Snapchats.
You don't tell him that on the night of Ryan Cooper's death, that an hour before Aaron Cooper is called, you were texting Huston Dunker and telling him absolutely 100% I'll remember to pick the shell casings.
I did not.
In these 3 hours that he's talking to you, you don't mention the story you've told today, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you chase him out of your property.
I told him to leave.
And you tell him to leave and you're gonna get a private investigator to crack this crime because this DCI agent Talbot and the other DCI agents can't crack it because they don't know what they're doing, right?
Those were not my words.
But you tell him you'll get a private investigator.
My words were different if you'd like me to tell you what they were.
Do you tell him?
Karina Cooper has a lot of explaining to do, but she is standing firm under cross-examination. Why didn't she come to police with these alleged threats that she feared for her life from regarding her lover, Huston Dunker? Let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll hear more of Karina Cooper talking under cross and then redirect.
That on closing arguments, a case of alleged affairs and protein shakes laced with potassium cyanide. We're diving deeper as the poisoned shake murder trial gets gets underway.
Closing arguments tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
Donna Adelson is facing charges of murder, the death of her former son-in-law.
Now that Donna has turned into a defendant, what's next for the Adelson clan?
The matriarch mastermind murder trial. Live coverage this August on Court TV.
After Ryan's death, I was in the office cleaning and came across a piece of paper underneath one of the pieces of office equipment. Pulled it out, and it was a page from one of our U.S. Cellular bills. It was a page that included detail from Karina's call logs, and it had a Post-it note on it with the name Huston D written on it.
Ryan Cooper had been on to his wife. Did he recently discover that she was having an affair with Huston Dunker just before he was found shot to death in his living room? Prosecutors say Karina Cooper and Huston Dunker that they together colluded to kill Ryan in the early morning hours of June 18th of 2021, and that their goal was to cash in on the insurance money and begin a life together. But the defense says that insurance money is still in trust, has been for years, even when neither of these two were arrested. The defense says that Cooper was simply caught up in that affair and that Dunker alone killed Ryan Cooper. Let's get you back into court now. We are going to listen to the remainder of Karina Cooper's testimony in her defense case.
I said maybe it's time to get a private investigator.
Okay. Why are you getting a private investigator?
I don't know. Frustration. I was frustrated.
You don't know why you're getting a private investigator?
Well, to solve Ryan's murder.
When you are the one who hasn't told this same agent what happened to Ryan and what you'd been doing with Huston.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
You want a private investigator to solve what happened, yet you have an agent who you're not telling your activities with Huston Dunker.
I did not tell him my activities, no.
At that point, you knew what had happened, correct?
I did. Well,
And yet you tell him that if you knew what had happened, or if you knew, and your words, the person who did this, you will be in jail because you would have hurt that person or killed that person, correct?
that's what I said.
And you use an explicit, you swear at that point when you say you will be in jail.
Motherfucker myself.
I have no further question for this witness.
Ms. Watt, redirect.
We have a portion of the Snapchat messages, right?
Correct.
Were there many other messages between you and Huston?
Hundreds.
On the evening of June 17th, so while you're at the ball field, did Huston get angry with you?
He did.
About what?
I had posted a video on my Snap story of Cade batting, and you could hear Ryan's voice in the background, and he sent me a snap, very angry because I was at the ball field with my husband, again, like I was cheating on him with my husband.
Okay.
So then, did you two have an argument?
We did. Several snaps were exchanged, arguing.
Okay. So the day of June 17th, while we have some of these snaps, it's not all, the whole conversation, it's not all lovey-dovey type message.
No.
You knew these things for so long. Why didn't you tell the police that Huston Dunker killed your husband?
Several reasons. I was scared. I was scared of Huston. I was scared of the police. I was scared. I was scared that I had lied for so long because I felt like I was being set up. I felt like no matter what, I was screwed, for lack of a better term. I was scared of the threats that he was making to my kids and my friends. And I felt that if I kept my mouth shut, he'd leave us alone.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you, Karina.
Ms. Kodiaga, anything further?
You claim, you tell this jury that Huston Dunker was mad at you that night at the ball game, Ryan Cooper's last ball game, seeing his children, correct?
Yes.
So, as Ryan Cooper's watches the last ball game of his children, and Huston is mad at you, he sent you a text for that?
Huston did?
Yeah.
Several.
And that's the same night where at 3:32 in the morning, you send Huston Dunker a heart emoji.
Correct.
The same night he was mad at you, you send him at 3:32 a heart emoji.
Correct.
I have no further questions.
Anything further?
No, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Cooper. You may step down.